only he were more evolved. He'd switch to DirecTV and get 5 months of their best TV package for free. Yes, for free.
To get 5 months free, call 1-800-DIRECTV.
Hey, Kevin.
Hey, Susan.
Oh, you brought your fun?
Yeah, I thought we'd go to Dave & Buster's. My fun really loves it there.
You didn't say anything about Dave & Buster's. I thought you were going to a movie. Give me 5 minutes.
Everyone's got a little fun in them. Bring yours back to Dave & Buster's for our $15.99 Eat and Play combo. Choose one of 8 delicious entrees and get a $10 game card, all for just $15.99. Dave & Buster's. Feed your fun.
Hey, kid, what's going on, big guy?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, you're gonna love this. I'm wearing my new Hanes boxer briefs.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they don't ride up your leg. Check it out.
Yo. Charlie Sheen! Charlie Sheen!
Underwear that stays put. Only from Hanes. That's the Comfort Fit promise.
Did you park it for me?
Awesome.
During the Autobahn for All event, you can get great deals.
Yeah, it's great. We just really want to be sure.
Whoa, it's us from
The future.
11 days in the future.
Look, you love your new Routan. You love the German tuned suspension. You love not having to pay for scheduled maintenance. I love what you've done with your hair. We'll take it.
Now during the Autobahn for All event, get 0% APR on a 2009 Routan. Hurry in before your future Volkswagen is history.
Hey,
Ben Roethlisberger.
those Nike Air Marauder Ds you got there let you show your team colors. They're also lightweight and help you be agile. Which is crucial when you're moving around in the pocket. Got it?
Yeah, man.
The Nike Air Marauder D cleats only at Dick's Sporting Goods. Better athlete, better team.
ESPN First Take is presented by DirecTV, your ticket to the most sports in HD. And in part by Dave & Buster's, Feed Your Fun. And Hanes. Look who we've got our Hanes on now.
Coverage of the World Football Challenge continues ESPN tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern. There's your matchup.
Sports Nation poll question, which of these feats is the most impressive? And 67.9% say pitching a perfect game. 18 perfect games in Major League history, 5 quadruple doubles in NBA history, and 9 500-yard passing games. But
I'll settle
people are impressed by the perfect game, Skip.
Well, I'm impressed unless Mark Burley pitches it.
They're all impressive.
Wow. Right.
Yes,
But
they
I'm
are.
Gee Whiz Jet. You are. So what do I know?
Patrick, thanks for joining us.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
training camp.
Have fun.
It has been called the world's greatest race course. Some say it is simply the most hallowed ground in all of American motorsports. Either way, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is special.
Doc, it is unmistakably Indianapolis. This 2.5-mile race course features the beautiful glass-enclosed pagoda, which houses race control and is the hub for everything that goes on this racetrack. And of course, it looks over the front stretch and the famous yard of bricks, which every team hopes to be kneeling on and giving a sweet kiss to at the end of the race on Sunday afternoon. And then there's the scoring pylon, which is so tall that Kyle Busch says if your number is at the top and you're coming down the front stretch, it's hard to look up that high and see your number. But that's a lot better than your number being eye level, because then that's a constant reminder of how much work you have to do. Jamie Little, there's no doubt about it. When you're out here, you're at Indy.
And Vince, when you're standing here in Gasoline Alley, there's no doubt you're in Indy. Now, one of the major differences between the Indianapolis 500 and the Brickyard 400 happens right here. The Indy cars are pushed through here onto pit road where all the adjustments during practice are made. It's very quiet here. Not the case with NASCAR. The drivers drive their cars through here straight to the garage where all the adjustments are made. It's a big difference between the two, and these NASCAR drivers, guys, will make more trips through Gasoline Alley over the next next 3 days than the Indy cars do the entire month of May. Dave Burns.
Jamie, you also know you're at Indy when you're talking about tires. Whenever the Sprint Cup Series comes here, their first practice always shows some signs of wear on the tires. But after last year's race, there's a lot more concern. Goodyear and the teams believe that the 30 drivers who helped Goodyear test 7 times, 14,000 miles over 11 months have developed the tire that will take to the track this weekend. During this first practice, rubber will be put in. We'll see some wear, but they expect to see what they expect, the proper wear. Let's go upstairs to Dr. Jerry Punch.
Thank you, Dave. So much history and tradition here. The NASCAR Sprint Cup cars have been coming here for 15 years, and there are the numbers and some of the names that have already etched their way into the Indy record books. Hello, everyone. Glad to have you with us. I'm Jerry Punch, along with 2 guys who know what it feels like to win the Brickyard 400, Dale Jarrett and Andy Petrie. Guys, what does it mean, this place, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, to all those drivers and crew guys over in the garage area?
Well, we've used a lot of adjectives to talk about how special this racetrack is, just coming here and being able to race. But they're all here for one reason, and that's to try to win at the Brickyard. And you put a lot of time, a lot of effort into it. A lot of these guys went on vacation after Chicago, but I will assure you, every one of them, every minute of every day, was thinking about what they could do to win at the Brickyard.
Yeah, and as a crew member and a crew chief, you bring your best stuff. You build new race cars. This place means so much. If you were able to win this race, you walk away from here not just with a trophy or a ring, you feel like you've really won something big.
As we turn our attention to the racetrack, guys, I got to ask you, this is the first official practice that we've had since we left here last August. What tops your list of need-to-know items?
Well, in this practice session right here, my main concern, my number one, is how fast will this car go? And what's it going to take to make it fast for one fast lap?
Yeah, and as a driver, you're looking at this in a situation that you have a new tire here. Qualifying's tomorrow. Very important to start up front. How much grip does this new tire have? We've heard all about it's got a ton of grip. How much can I push it? How far can I drive into the corner? How quick can I get back to the throttle?
So many great stories for the weekend. There is the 4-time Brickyard 400 winner, Jeff Gordon, and he could become the first driver to win on the Indianapolis Oval 5 times if he can pull it off here on Sunday.
We're hearing a lot of guys down in the garage area, even though this is a practice session before qualifying, that a lot of them are going to run laps here in race trim to put laps on the tires and on the racetrack. And also looking at the weather. You look at the sky. Some of these guys don't know for sure up here what the weather's going to do, so they want to make sure that they get some race runs in. Although, like you said, we heard Dave Burns say they've run 14,000 miles. I don't know how many more laps they actually need on the track, but I think it's a very important time for Goodyear just to get rubber on the racetrack.
Yeah, there's no doubt that this is very important to all in a lot of ways in seeing, because this has always been the most difficult time on this racetrack, is these first laps and trying to get it rubbered in a little bit. As we follow Jeff Gordon here, his teammate Jimmy Johnson is the top of the list right now. I spoke with Jimmy a little bit earlier. He has a brand new race car here. They said it's the best car they've had through the tunnel. Everything that's been the best, they put that effort into here. So Jeff's got his teammate there doing that, and he knows that that's who he's probably going to have to beat if he's going to win.
Here's the 99 car, Carl Edwards, and as you said, guys, one of the top items on the agenda is to do a mock qualifying run, which is what we are told Carl is doing right now.
Well, he's run 1 lap so far, 51.44, and that is 3rd fastest.
I think I got a flat tire.
That's pretty fast if you had a flat tire.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Well, as he slows down and heads to the garage area, for more on what the crew chiefs are thinking about in this very first practice session, let's go down to our Craftsman Tech garage and Tim Brewer.
Thanks, Doc. Most important aspect, the driver, his comfort inside the car, making sure that the steering wheel's positioned properly, the toe-in set. He doesn't have any issues inside the car. That'll enable him to do his job. But like Andy said, you got to know how fast your car is going to run. So what we're going to do, we're going to rely on this rheostat box. What we're using is a generator out on pit road. We actually heat the oil temperature up in the tank, the transmission, and the rear end. So when we roll out on the racetrack, we've got optimum oil temperature. What that's going to enable you to do is run 3 to 4 tenths quicker per lap. Because when you roll out to lay that qualifying lap down, it might make the difference in starting 10th or being on the front row here in Indianapolis.
Thank you, Tim. And the driver who stood on the front row last year, and then when the day was over and went to victory lane, was this guy right here, Jimmy Johnson. Right now, Jimmy Johnson atop the speed charts. And what about one of the feel-good stories of the year? His teammate, 50-year-old Mark Martin, coming out of semi-retirement and now a four-time winner in 2009, has put himself back in chase contention, 11th in the points with that dominating performance a couple of weeks ago at Chicago.
Yeah, Mark's done exactly what he came back for. He came back to win races. We all wanted to talk about him winning a championship, and he says, hold on, guys, let's go see what's going to happen. But he's come back and won 4 races. Just tremendous.
Okay, he's checked those off. He's checked off the wins. Now, is he going to refocus and go for this championship? If he does, that means he's going to have to really pay attention to points from here to the chase cutoff.
Talk about a guy who wants to win races. How about awesome Bill Elliott? We talked about retirement. He's a former winner here, and he right now is atop the speed charts in that 21 car for the Wood Brothers.
Yeah, he had a great effort at Chicago a few weeks ago in qualifying, ran up front the first part of that race, so these guys are on top of it.
Yeah, these guys have gone to an abbreviated schedule, and it really has helped them prepare for the races that they do run. David Hyder's a great crew chief, and I know that he's back there working on his cars, and man, that thing's fast.
How special would it be to see Awesome Bill maybe go to victory lane? Well, lots of motorsports coming your way. Our Saturday schedule, 10 a.m. NASCAR Sprint Cup qualifying here from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Final practice at 12:30 Eastern Time. Sprint Cup happy hour. Nationwide Series qualifying, NHRA qualifying, and Nationwide Series live flag-to-flag coverage at 7:30 Eastern.
Great choice. I don't know what that means, but if you were to lose your job for some reason, the Sears Buyer Protection Program would cover your purchase until you're working again or your appliance is paid off. Should you lose your job.
The Sears Buyer Protection Program. One more way we've got you covered when you use your Sears card. Come in now and save an extra 10% on all Whirlpool appliances already on sale. Sears, life well spent.
Applebee's 2 for $20. Real food at the right price. This is the primo stuff. 1 appetizer and 2 premium entrees, just $20 every day. Genuine food, generous portions, genius price. 2 for $20, only at Applebee's.
Roundup Extended Control does 2 jobs at once. 1. Kills weeds to the root. 2. Forms a barrier, preventing new ones for up to 4 months. Roundup Extended Control.
That's one monster case of athlete's foot. Hit that with Tough Actin Tenactin. It gets rid of your athlete's foot.
And now try Tenactin Chill. Cools the burn, relieves the itch of athlete's foot. Get Tough Actin Tenactin.
8. That's how many credit cards the average person has in their wallet. It's so easy to get into trouble with debt. Call Consolidated Credit. They'll get the credit card companies to reduce or eliminate your interest. They're the freedom people.
Call toll-free 1-800-215-3116.
Consolidated Credit. When credit card debt is the problem, they're the solution.
New Nivea for Men Active 3. Nivea's first 3-in-1 shower, shampoo, and shave. It's almost everything men need for grooming. Almost. New Active 3 from Nivea for Men. What men want.
I feel some pressure, but if you're a race car driver, you got to think you're the best. And I don't have any problem doing that.
The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series comes to ESPN at the Brickyard 400, Sunday at 12:30.
To go there and just know that the history of the facility and what it's meant to auto racing in general in the United States is something that it's just kind of like a hollow ground.
It's pretty impressive to see how many names and how many legends in racing from not only IndyCar racing but stock car racing, Formula One have competed.
To grow up as a kid watching the Indy 500, all the greats, A.J. Foyt and Johnny Rutherford, Al Unser, Rick Mears, and then, to get the opportunity to race there was extremely special.
It's exciting for me to be able to race on the same track that many, 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 heroes of mine have raced on.
The famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway, 2009, we began the Centennial Era celebration, 100 years old, for a track that opened way back in 1909 with a hot air balloon race as the very first event held here. Over the years, some drivers have had a lot of success here, and here's a driver that has already won the Indianapolis 500, Juan Pablo Montoya back in 2000 as a rookie. And he came here as a rookie 2 years ago in a NASCAR Sprint Cup car, sat on the front row, and finished second. And guys, he's already been out in practice, and right now Juan Pablo Montoya third on the speed chart.
Yeah, he put up a good lap, and he actually ran 5 laps that first time out. So he was just kind of filling his car, seeing what the track's going to do. As we look at Denny Hamlin here now, guy that's you think about Denny, you think about Pocono, the success he had there. You've got to believe that he has a really good chance of winning this race on Sunday.
Yeah, those things carry over from Pocono because the track is very similar in length. It's 2.5 miles, at least one corner of Pocono is similar to the corners here. Turn 3 is relatively flat. Like you see here, these flat turns where Denny's coming off the corner.
You know, Denny Hamlin was so good here a year ago, guys. He led until 10 laps to go when Jimmy Johnson passed him for the win. So every time he has come here, he has run well. He lost a cylinder in 06 and still came back to have a lead lap effort. And, of course, a cut tire a year later than last year, the frustrations at the end being passed by Jimmy Johnson. Let's go down to Dave.
Doc, speaking of whom, Jimmy Johnson is back in the garage right now. His 48 car with some damage to the right rear there. Wasn't able to confirm off of which corner this happened, but it was minor damage. Car Chief Ron Malik has already been underneath the right rear fender there, pounded that out just a little bit, and nothing really seemed to be amiss underneath there. So minor scrape for last year's winner already. And they are in race trim, by the way, guys. The 48 will stay that way, according to Crew Chief Chad Knaus for this entire session.
Dave, last year, we look at this picture. Last year, they wore out the bottom of the tires. Now, he's already worn out the sidewall on that Goodyear.
Well, that just shows you that he's getting everything out of that race car, because you have to use up the entire racetrack to get the speed off the corners. The more you let that car go out next to the wall, the more speed you can carry.
Yeah, and it's very easy to do, especially as you come out of turns 1 and 3. I think that's probably more than likely, without knowing exactly where it was, that's where you really try to use as much of the racetrack as you can, letting your car be as free as possible. So it makes it tough, and but that's just a minor thing there. We see Matt Kenseth on the track now.
It was announced yesterday that his longtime sponsor, DeWalt, would not be back with his team in 2010, but Matt said, we're forging ahead. We get others on the plate. We hope to be able to make an announcement in the coming weeks as to who will be on as our sponsorship in 2010. And Matt Kenseth, probably the best of the Roush Fenway cars at this racetrack. He has had 2 second-place finishes.
I'll tell you, that's a real opportunity for somebody to get somebody like Matt Kenseth. He won't stay like that long. He'll have a sponsor on that car.
Championship caliber team and driver.
We talked about flat tracks and how some drivers really embrace them, like you mentioned, Denny Hamlin. Here's a guy, Kyle Busch, that has struggled on flat racetracks.
Yeah, and you know, I'm going to side with the driver here because we know how much talent this guy has. And, you know, he runs other flat racetracks, especially in this Nationwide car, and does pretty good. I think it's just this team hasn't figured out, for whatever reason, to get Kyle exactly what he's looking for on these flatter surfaces. But these are exactly the type tracks that they struggled at last year and have shown to continue to struggle this year.
And flat racetracks take a little more finesse and a little more, you know, maybe just discipline. And Kyle Busch is one of those that goes out there and attacks a racetrack, and it pays off at a lot of places. Flat racetracks, though, you just got to have a little more patience.
Yeah, it's really easy to me. I found flatter racetracks where you don't have that banking to overdrive the racetrack. And you talk to a number of drivers here, that seems to be the one thing that it is easiest to do for almost every driver that's here, is just to overdrive these corners.
Kyle finished 15th in this race a year ago and went on to finish 36th a week later at Pocono. So obviously with the chase just 7 races away, he can't afford to be giving up too many more points.
Yeah, they're in a position that, you know, as bad as they want to win the Brickyard 400, I'm sure they have to look at the big picture somewhat too. And, you know, they're in a pretty precarious position sitting there. They're not locked into this chase by any means.
Here's Michael Waltrip. What a disappointment from Michael a year ago, finishing 43rd. And the only good news he got all day was that 43rd paid almost $140,000 just by qualifying, but not the kind of day he wanted.
Yeah, he had a tire problem early, as did a lot, and then was hit by another car, so it wasn't what. But Michael generally gets around this racetrack really good.
As we mentioned, this is the first practice session of the weekend at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And Vince, this car's only been on the racetrack a couple of laps.
Yeah, Dale Earnhardt Jr., they're putting the net up now, so giving an indication that he's getting ready to go back out. He only ran a couple of laps, as you said, and they're running race trim during this first practice. Said the car was a little bit loose, but crew chief Lance McGrew going to take it easy on Jr. a little bit today because he's got a stomach virus, and Jr. not feeling well at all, had to take an IV this morning, so they're keeping him with plenty of fluids, and that's going to make the biggest difference for him in the race car, and hopefully they can get a car that'll handle nicely for him during this first practice session as well.
That's going to be something that he's really going to have to take care of through the weekend because we talk about this only being a 400-mile race. It is a pretty physical race because in the cockpit you work pretty hard. These cars are hot inside, and you have these 4 distinct corners. Plus, with the amount of traffic that you're going to have, the double file restarts, looking ahead to that, there's a lot of stress involved too. So Junior's going to have to really take care of himself.
One thing I'm looking at is the racetrack. You can see the groove starting to actually get a little color in it, and that's a good sign. Goodyear knows that's going to happen. They've run enough laps to know, but that's the first time we've actually been able to see it, how the track is taking a little bit of rubber. You see right there is how dark it is right there in the groove.
Yeah. We were told that's what was going to happen. It's nice to see, isn't it?
There is Kevin Harvick on the racetrack, and the good news is, folks, for those that watched a year ago and all the disappointment of the tire situation, Goodyear's worked so hard, and right now we've had one driver already go over 10 laps with no issues, Kyle Busch. And you've seen some of these guys trying to pile up some laps here as Kevin Harvick is out. There's Kyle Busch in the top of your screen. And you got to wonder, you talked about qualifying setups, how soon these guys will be running longer stints to be able to see what the tires will do.
Yeah, I think today we're seeing it. I think a lot of them think that the second practice session they had today will be more when they'll look at a qualifying type setup, Andy. They don't really have time in this hour to change from a race over to a qualifying type setup, do they?
Not at this practice session. They kind of make the decision, okay, we're going to just take this hour and do some race runs, put some rubber down, get us a little bit of a balance check, and then we'll try to see how fast we can go in the next one. They have another hour after this session where they can actually really refine that setup for qualifying.
Here's one of the top stories of 2009. Tony Stewart, Stewart-Haas Racing atop the point standings, the two-time Brickyard 400 winner. Let's ride along and watch his line.
Yeah, you can see this is turn 2 right here. You hear Tony get out of the throttle, you let the car roll. That's where you really have to get back to the throttle, even before the center, the apex of that corner, to really make this straightaway as long as possible. This is forever long down here. You hear Tony kind of roll out of the throttle, letting his car roll here. Very little brake at this point. Then you want to, again, get back to the throttle as soon as possible. Really short shoot here. Roll out of the throttle again. Car rolled. Now back to the throttle again. Yeah, you can see that car handling pretty nice. Tony didn't have to do anything really particular. But let's follow him down the straightaway here. Now we're going down. Now this is not people in the stands today, but this is going to fill up. This really narrows up right here. This is a tight corner going into turn 1. Probably going to be the most exciting place we'll see on Sunday.
Tony Stewart, the two-time Cup Series champion and two-time winner here. You know, winning here means so much to anyone, but for a native Indiana boy, it was the ultimate.
Tony Stewart, his dream comes true. For the second time, Tony Stewart will take the checkered flag at the Brickyard.
Whether you consider it a cruiser or a clunker, you could turn it into cash. Get to your Dodge, Chrysler, and Jeep dealer and get up to double the government's cash for your old car. Now get up to $4,500 for your old car, plus up to an additional $4,500 cash allowance. No turn-in? No problem. Your Dodge, Chrysler, and Jeep dealer guarantees everyone up to $4,500 cash allowance on virtually every model. Get to your Dodge, Chrysler, and Jeep dealer on the double and get double cash for your old car.
We're gonna settle tonight.
I picked a place. You picked a lot.
There's someone else here. He's got the whole house rigged.
My family's in here. You can save them.
911, please state your emergency.
The Collector, rated R. Starts July 31st.
ESPN's Sunday Night Baseball. American League Central contenders clash in the Motor City as Jermaine Dye leads the White Sox in the final game of a big 4-game series against the Tigers. While All-Stars Curtis Granderson on the run, he makes the catch. And Brandon Inge look to carry Detroit to the division title. Home run, Brandon Inge. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell. White Sox Tigers, 8 Eastern on ESPN.
Through the years, many things pass from father to son, like Aqua Velva Aftershave. Smells great, cools, firms, and tones. Cool. Aqua Velva, men get it.
Wake up your whiskers with Electric Shave. Electric Shave! Stands up whiskers for an up to 52% closer shave.
Man, that was close.
Electric Shave. Blade close. Electric smooth.
G-Morning, sunshine. Wakey, wakey. Text me. Are your parents home later? We can hang. LUV, love you. JK. Holla back. Holla back. Holla back. Are you with your friends? That's lame. We're in a huge fight right now. XO. What'd you dream about? Something I did. Are you on your way to the mall? I'm lonely. Nude pics. Send me some. Text me.
There is always so much color and pageantry when we come to the famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway. NASCAR Sprint Cup cars coming back for the 16th time. Who will it be? Jeff Gordon, a 4-time winner, trying to become the first 5-time winner at Indianapolis on the oval. We invite you to join us Sunday with our coverage beginning at 12:30 Eastern Time with NASCAR Countdown. There are 7 races remaining until the chase begins. Mark Martin is a 4-time winner this year. Tony Stewart has won this race twice. Could he win it 3 times? And as we mentioned, could Jeff Gordon become the first 5-time winner on the oval here at Indianapolis? Familiar colors. Tony Stewart has gone to victory lane twice driving the Home Depot car. But it is not Tony Stewart in it this year. It is a rookie who has already set a record in NASCAR.
You know, I couldn't imagine being 19 years old, getting a race at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I can't imagine what Joey's feeling. I mean, you know, he's handled all the pressure well to this point, but this is his first opportunity really to be here to race at Indianapolis in the Brickyard and know that you've got a winning car.
And he's got about 8 laps on the racetrack. He's 11th on the speed chart, so taking the racetrack pretty well.
Vince, you got more?
Scott Gizzapadelli, the crew chief for Joey Logano, happy with the times that Joey's running right now. Just told him keep running. Let's see where it goes. And keeping a real eye on those times and the consistencies with the tire during a longer run. This is race trim only during this first practice for the 20, Joey Logano. And for more on his teammate, let's go to Jamie Little.
Now, Kyle Busch was out on the track. He did a 12-lap run, came in, all 4 tires have been taken off. All 4 look good, and I was just told from Goodyear, no porting whatsoever in the garage. Now, this is what it's looking like. This was in the left rear wheel well. This rubber that comes off the tires is actually balling up. That's what they want it to do instead of that real fine dust we were seeing last year, guys. So far, so good in this 18 camp.
Jamie, thank you. We want to remind the fans, if you just joined our coverage, to update the Goodyear story from what happened a year ago. 11 months of testing and preparation. 7 times they came here, 31 cars, 14,000 miles around the racetrack, and they have worked hard to give us a tire that not only is going to grip the track, but maybe have a little give up, which will give us a great race.
I bet if we could get in that Goodyear compound over there right now, we'd see some engineers and high-ups at Goodyear doing backflips and all kinds of things.
A lot of smiles.
Yeah.
We talked about the disappointment and deflation of a year ago. Well, here it was. Back in the 42 car, Juan Pablo Montoya, who was running 4th at the time. Matt Kenseth's day went away. And so did the right side of his race car with a tire in the turn.
Well, you see a tire explode like that, it can do a lot of damage. And what you had here was just a lot of dust that was coming up off of these tires. You can see it piling up next to the wall last year. And now that's good news to see that rubber's balling up like it is, and it's sticky and sticking down in the grooves of the track.
Yeah, as much as you hate to get up in those marbles, you'd much rather see that than that dust that piled up there last year. So Goodyear's done a fantastic job, and we're set for a great race on Sunday.
But what that means now is that these guys sometime between now and the final practice have to figure out how far you can go on fuel and what kind of strategy you might play, knowing the tires should be able to grip the racetrack.
Montoya now moves up to second fastest the last lap. Jamie?
I just talked to Brian Patty, crew chief for Juan Pablo Montoya, right before he went back out on the track. He told me they're really happy that they got great notes from the test here, which was the second to the last test just a few months ago here. He said it's a little warmer now, so they're testing some things to get some more grip. But Juan Pablo just went out on the track, did a qualifying run. They were very happy with the speed.
Thank you, Jamie. Juan Pablo and Sam Hornish, the only two drivers in this field that have won the Indianapolis 500. No one has ever won both races, and both would have an opportunity. Obviously, Juan Pablo Montoya running very well right now. As he comes by that time, he is still second overall in the speed charts.
There you see Sam Hornish, Indy 500 champion, as Doc was talking about there. He really feels like he has a good shot at winning this race. He's been very impressive this year, learned a lot about these cars and about the tracks, and obviously knows a lot about this. And I want to talk about these tires for a second. As much as we're saying how good they are, Goodyear's done their job, but it's not saying that we couldn't see teams have problems, because you can't abuse that when you get something that good and try to take a little bit more with it. A little too much camber to make your car turn and things like that.
Yeah, you'll have to use some discipline as a crew chief. We're watching Casey Mears. That's another famous name here at this speedway, the Mears name, but crew chiefs got to really watch that and not get greedy and manage their own chassis to make sure they don't cause some problems.
Casey, the nephew of Rick Mears, the four-time winner. His dad, Roger, ran the 1983 Indianapolis 500. And Casey, by the way, still holds the qualifying record. He sat here back in 2004 on the pole at over 186.2 miles per hour. Well, he abruptly turns that car to head down pit road.
Yeah, I think a lot of these guys will practice that move right there to get the pit road under green.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he was looking at, how quickly that pit road entrance comes up very quick off of turn 4.
Carl Edwards, one of 4 drivers here the weekend that'll be doing double duty, going back and forth between here and O'Reilly Raceway Park to run the NASCAR Nationwide Series race.
Yeah, Carl needs to settle down a little bit, standing there eating out of his car.
He's probably the only chance he's got to eat. He's running back and forth. all the practice sessions and all the laps he has to run.
Carl finished second in this race a year ago. Remember, no Roush Fenway driver has ever won here at Indianapolis.
I set these firecrackers off over and over in my head. Because if I can manage to outmaneuver this course, sparks will fly.
See original works of sport. X Games 15 coverage starts Thursday at 8 Eastern on ESPN.
You call this a challenge? But can you take it when the people tell you that you're going down, 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 always down? You know you live your life, you pick it up, you put it back, down, down.
My kind of odds.
Adam Richmond travels the country and takes on the biggest, baddest, and boldest foods, one delicious bite at a time. Man vs. Food premieres Wednesday, August 5th at 10, only on the Travel Channel.
Repair jobs are quick and easy with Quikrete Fast Setting Concrete. Just add water and mix. It sets hard in minutes. Quikrete. It's that easy.
This is Jeff Norman. He doesn't get health insurance from an employer, so he's been buying it himself for years. He's healthy, so he wonders why his rates keep going up. Liz Sloan wants health insurance but doesn't think she can afford it. We're Assurant Health, and we've been customizing plans to meet the needs of individuals for over 110 years. For instance, with our 2-year rate guarantee and healthy discount, Jeff will get 15% off his rate and lock in that rate for 2 years. For Liz, we offer plans that allow people like her to pay for only the benefits they need, saving them money. In fact, Liz could get up to $2 million of coverage for less than $100 per month. Unlike other health insurance companies that focus on corporations and treat everyone the same, Assurant Health is there for the individual. So if you need health insurance, call the number on your screen, visit our website, or contact your local agent.
Call now to find out how you can save hundreds of dollars a year on your health insurance. Call 1-800-229-0166.
NASCAR Sprint Cup practice continuing here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This Brickyard 400 preparations ongoing. We'll have qualifying for you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Happy hour. Big weekend for NASCAR here in the city of Indianapolis. Let's go down to the garage and Dave Burns.
With Carl Edwards now, who has taken his 2 qualifying runs so far, what have you found with the track and with the tire? And your car, I guess.
I haven't even worried about the tire yet. It seems to be fine. You know, we've only made a couple laps, but you know, like you said, it looks like the rubber's, you know, it looks normal, like it's coming off, and the little marbles that most tracks do, it's not dusting it off and wearing the tires excessively. And our Afterlife Fusion seems okay, but I don't think there's too many guys in qualifying trim right now, so yeah, we've got our work cut out for us. Our guys in race trim, I think they're kind of getting the cars more balanced, and we'll rely on them a little bit, I guess, for next practice.
So are you going to stay in race trim for the entire first practice? I mean, in qualifying trim?
Yeah, I'm not sure what Bob's plan is. I think we want to get it pretty close, and then work on race trim as much as we can, because the weather forecast for tomorrow is, you know, 50-50, and you know, you'd hate to not try your race trim if you don't get any practice tomorrow. But this Aflac Fusion seems okay.
Carl mentioned relying on his teammates up and down the row here. The first 8 garages, Doc, he is the only one who is in qualifying trim so far.
Dave, from the 99 car to the 88 car out on the racetrack, there's Dale Earnhardt Jr. And we saw him in the garage a moment ago. Back on the track now. He has run 10 laps. And you can see that groove Andy Petrie was talking about. It's getting darker and darker. That is a great sign this year with regard to what's happening with the rubber.
Yeah, it is. It's really good to see that. I'd like to see it a little wider. It'll take a few more laps for that to happen.
Hey, you're reading my mind there, and that's exactly what I was thinking. These drivers are hoping that stretches out a little bit.
Now you see Dale Earnhardt's practice runs. The first run, he went just basically 2 laps and 52 flat. Next run, he picked up a little bit, down 51.90. And if he's on the same set of tires, you'd expect to see that third run to fall off a little bit there. You see that 52.40. And I'm seeing that. I'm watching some of the lap times on these cars, and as they run laps, this tire is giving up a little bit. What's going on with Junior, Vint?
Yeah, he is on the same set of tires that he started on, and he's run about a dozen laps now. I said earlier on that first run, when he turned into the corner, the left front popped up, and it was very tight. So those were the changes they made, trying to get the car to be a little more free as he goes through the corner, and you see him rolling through there. So Dale Jr., as we mentioned earlier, wasn't feeling well earlier today, not feeling so well now either. So they're going to be a little light on the workload in this first session, hopefully working on their race trim, and then maybe look at a little qualifying trim in that second session this afternoon, but just really working on the race car right now.
Thanks, Vince. They got their challenges cut out for him here. He's not feeling well. Brand new tire, brand new race car. This is the first race car from the ground up that crew chief Lance McGrew has built for Dale Jr., and they brought it here, and obviously it's going to take them a little while to dial this baby in.
Yeah, especially if you got a new package and you're bringing something you really haven't got any notes on. That's one of the things you want to do right now, is just see what buttons to push on this thing to make it do what you want it to do.
Let's go down to the garage area and Jamie Little.
Well, guys, Kyle Busch is still out of the car. He's just taking a little breather, sitting in the garage watching the guys. He said all is good on his car. They're just going to keep him here in race trim. They're going to put him back out on the track now. He has probably one of the busiest weekends of anybody this weekend. He's racing the Truck Series race tonight over at ORP. Tomorrow night, he has to practice, qualify, and race his nationwide car. And oh, by the way, he has to practice and qualify over here. So he will be helicoptering back and forth from IMS over to ORP about 11 different times. This guy's got to keep his stamina up, guys. He has 3 races in 3 days.
He is the points leader for the NASCAR Nationwide Series, picking up his 6th win of the year last week when many of the Cup guys had a weekend off. He was in Gateway in St. Louis, winning in the NASCAR Nationwide car. And, of course, would like to be able to go to victory lane here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway and make it. No driver has ever won both the at ORP and the Nationwide car and the Cup car in the same weekend.
this guy just loves to drive race cars. You know, that's what he wants to do. It's what he obviously does very well. And it is very strenuous. I did it early in my career. Matter of fact, in '96, when we were fortunate to win this race, I ran the race over there, and makes it difficult. I'm not sure we had a helicopter then, though. I think we kind of drove back and forth, but makes it a little easier on him, but it's still a very tough schedule for he and Carl Edwards to make all of this happen. But Kyle running all 3 events here this weekend, and could come away as the guy he has a perfect chance to win all 3, too.
He has 11 wins in 2009 in the 3 series, 3 in Cup, 6 in Nationwide, and 2 in the Camping World Truck Series. Top of the screen, folks, see that fastest at 21 Elliott? That is the Bill Elliott. Awesome Bill on top of the speed charts, and he's only been out for 3 laps, but he didn't need but 3 to go quicker than anybody else.
That's Jamie McMurray right here. He's another guy that's been pretty good at this racetrack. He's got some pretty good numbers with this Roush team.
Jamie finished 3rd here the very first time he came here, Andy, as you were talking about, in 2003. Has 3 top 10 finishes. Richard Petty never got to race here because he had already retired in '92 before he came here in '94, but his race car is on the track and running awfully well. Reed Soares, and right now 4th overall in speed.
Well, Reed's been pretty hot here lately. Last week at St. Louis, he ran a really good race there in the Nationwide Series race. He's been on the pole here, I think, a few times, or at least once. And top 5 right now. 4th on the speed chart.
Yeah, that was his career highlight, winning the pole here a couple of years ago. Back then he was driving for Chip Ganassi. This is the first practice session of the weekend for the NASCAR Sprint Cup cars. So we've got lots coming your way here. Qualifying 10 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow morning, 2 laps. It's hold your breath time for these drivers in qualifying, and happy hour at 3:30. They dial them in on ESPN2. And then the Brickyard 400 flag-to-flag coverage Sunday, 12:30 Eastern time, presented by Golden Corral, beginning with NASCAR Countdown. And, of course, tomorrow at O'Reilly Raceway Park across town, practice at 12:30 Eastern time on ESPN2, qualifying at 5 o'clock Eastern time, and then flag-to-flag coverage of the NASCAR Nationwide Series car. Marty Reed will be over there. Rusty Wallace will be there, 7:30 Eastern time on ESPN. Of course, NHRA action as well throughout the weekend.
You know, when you don't run good, you got a lot of people asking you a lot of questions about it. All the press and all the fans. But if you're a race car driver, you got to think you're the best out there. And I don't have any problem doing that.
The Brickyard 400, Sunday at 12:30 on ESPN. Telecast presented by Golden Corral.
Tired of your car taking a beating? It gets dinged, scratched and nicked, and you pay the price. Hi, Billy Mays here for Fix-It, the instant scratch remover from Simonize that repairs dings, scratches, and nicks on contact. Fix-It has a professional, fast-action formula that repairs, fills and seals the scratch, blending with any color for a perfect match. Like magic, the scratch disappears right before your eyes. Using Fix-It is so easy. Just press the Easy On applicator, apply, and let dry. That's it. The resins fill the scratch while UV hardeners cure in natural sunlight. Fix-It goes on clear, dries clear, so it's virtually invisible. No sanding, tools, or hard labor. You just fix it fast. Got a scratch? Fix it. Got a door ding? Fix it. Got a nick? Fix it and forget it. If seeing is believing, watch this. Can you imagine having a scratch like this? Now watch Fix-It go to work. It feels it. It seals it. It disappears like magic. Now the scratch has met its match. You'd pay a professional over $100 just to repair one scratch, but now you can get Fix-It for only $19.95. Call now and we'll double the offer. That's 2 for the price of 1. Enough Fix-It to repair the scratches on all your cars. You'll also get Fix-It for the home. Scratch stovetop? Fix-It. Scratch refrigerator? Fix-It. It's the scratch removing superstar, and it's yours free. But call right now, and we'll send you the Simonized Turbo Vac, the car vac with the muscle to pick up any mess. A $30 value, yours free. We'll also include the microfiber polishing cloth, yours free. You get it all. 2 Fix-It applicators, Fix-It for the home, the Turbo Vac, and the microfiber polishing cloth. A whopping $70 value, all for only $19.95. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-709-5014. That's 1-800-709-5014. Don't delay. Call now.
Back at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where aerial coverage brought to you by our good friends at Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. New FlexMax tires help you have a winning fuel strategy. One of the great traditions here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway over the years has been the kissing of the yard of bricks by the winning team. But did you know that in 1994 and 95, the first two winning teams didn't do it? How did the tradition start? Well, here's how.
It started as a Dale Jarrett thing. I think he's the one that kind of brought it out. And you go out there on the front straightaway, we all bend down and kiss the bricks.
Yeah, they're gritty and there's rubber and dirt and sand and everything else, and you don't care one bit, man. You're just all over it.
It's not sweet tasting. It doesn't taste like candy, but it sure seems like it when you're kissing them. It's the best cold kiss you'll ever get.
Well, one of those who has kissed the bricks here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is Bill Elliott. Boy, you've had the highs and lows of this place. You won the race and also last year went home. You've got to get in on speed this year as well, and you've got the top speed right now, but what does that mean as we stand here at this moment?
It don't mean anything at this point in time. I mean, I'm proud of these guys. You know, Motorcraft and Ford really put a lot to us here the last number of races, and we've run well at Chicago, Michigan, and back at Charlotte. But, right now we need to focus on here. I'm proud of these guys. We've come a long way, and right now we just need to focus on getting this thing in the race and then see what comes on Sunday afternoon if we can get it there.
How do you balance the challenge of qualifying trim versus having your car for race ready over the course of these 2 days of practice?
Well, right now we're just going to focus on qualifying. The really good cars, they're just out doing their race mode right now, and that's why the times are kind of all messed up. But, once it gets down to it, we've got to get in on time, and that's what we're going to focus on.
Well, and Doc, if Bill Elliott does get in, there's no doubt about it. This guy wouldn't surprise you if he ran up toward the front and maybe even got back to victory lane like he was there once before, huh?
What a memory, Vince, for Awesome Bill from Dawsonville. Turn back the clock to 2002. He began the day on the outside of row one. After leading 93 laps, Bill Elliott took Dodge and Ray Evernham, his car owner, to victory lane at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And to date, that is the only win for Dodge in the Sprint Cup competition here. Awesome Bill, 53 years of age, hoping to be able to go back to victory lane, driving a Ford this year. And here is the 9 car, a familiar number. That is the 9 car for Casey Kane.
I know that Casey came into this race with high expectations for his race team. They've been performing really well, got themselves up in the chase position right now, so they really feel like that this is an opportunity for them to go to victory lane. Dodges have performed well here over the years, and Casey does well here also.
This last run, he's moved way up on the speed chart. That first run, he was kind of down. I'm sure they were just checking the car out, shaking it down. But this second run here, they're quite a bit faster, up in the top 10.
Let's update the 9 car. Jamie.
Actually, the 5 car, Mark Martin, just getting ready to go back out. Now, they just pulled off some tires that had 15 laps on them, and they said they were very good. The wear pins across the top, they said there was a bunch of more wear. You can see here the guys are stacking the tires. These wear pins right here, you can see that there's a lot more tread left, and they're saying that's a great sign. The tires are wearing evenly, so 15 laps, good sign. These are right side tires right here, guys.
Yeah, that looks real good compared to what we've been seeing here for that many laps. The one thing that is happening, though, as we watch these lap times, is that they're falling off. They start out with a lot of grip real fast, and as that tire wears, it slows down, which is not a bad thing. It's going to make for a good race.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a good thing what we're seeing here. It's only going to get better as the weekend progresses. And to be quite honest, Andy, there's time slowing down. I think it's going to really make for the opportunity for some better racing. The fans in the stands really aren't going to be able to see that they're slowing down a second and a half over a 15-lap period. And watching it on TV, you're not going to be able to see that. But I think what it's going to translate in is you watching a much better race than what we've seen here.
One thing you have when you have a tire that's falling off like that, when you do get new tires, it makes a big difference and pass a lot of cars. See here, just the trend of how the laps fall off. Well, actually, look at Mark's. His actually look pretty good. He's right there around 52 seconds flat. And that's what you'd expect. It's what you're actually looking for in your race runs, is trying to get those laps as consistent as possible.
And he has been very consistent over the years when he's come to run here in different cars. Running for DEI last year, he has 5 top 5 finishes, a second, 2 fourths, and a 5th. We're talking about 50-year-old Mark Martin on the track right now in practice.
That's one monster case of athlete's foot. Hit that with Tough Actin Tenactin. It gets rid of your athlete's foot.
And now try Tenactin Chill. Cools the burn, relieves the itch of athlete's foot. Get Tough Actin Tenactin.
Roundup Extended Control does 2 jobs at once. 1. Kills weeds to the root. 2. Forms a barrier, preventing new ones for up to 4 months. Roundup Extended Control.
Get your career cooking. Literally. Call an affiliate of the Cordon Bleu Schools, North America. You could train as a culinary professional and work as a chef, pastry chef, restaurant manager, and more. Call now, and we'll send you this complimentary career guide.
Operators are standing by. Call 800-713-6094. That's 800-713-6094.
ESPN.com/Round 1. Round 5.
Oh, yeah. All day long. That's right.
Round 15.
Let's go.
Mason Crosby.
ESPN Fantasy Football. Play for free at ESPN.com. Follow your sports.
Hey Raider fans, where will you be August 8th? Come out for a day of family fun and football at Raider Nation Celebration. This free event will feature a team practice, Raiderette performance, and a kids combine. An on-field interactive experience. Admission and parking are free, so celebrate everything Raiders with your family at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum on August 8th from 1 to 5 p.m. For more details, log on to Raiders.com or call 510-864-5000.
Stand by for an important announcement. This summer, LiveNation.com has loads of great deals on amphitheater concert tickets. Check out the special offers like 4-pack ticket savings to see acts like Coldplay, Brad Paisley, Aerosmith, Nickelback, Depeche Mode, Crewfest 2, Blink-182, Def Leppard and Poison, and the Jonas Brothers, along with many more. LiveNation.com is the place for great deals on concert tickets this summer. For complete details on specials and programs, go to LiveNation.com.
Back at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, final minutes of the first practice of the weekend, getting set for the 16th running of the Brickyard 400. Now, here is some breaking news. We have just gotten word that the 4th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals has ruled in favor of NASCAR. And that means that Jeremy Mayfield is back under suspension. That ruling will stand until the full appeal can be heard. But again, the suspension now has been placed back on Jeremy Mayfield as the Court of Appeals rules in favor of NASCAR. Back on the racetrack, Bill Elliott atop the speed charts. Juan Pablo Montoya, Jimmy Johnson, Reed Sorensen. And coming back on the track is the 88 car of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Let's listen in.
That drove, if I got it to the bottom, it was doing what I wanted, turning and everything. I'd have to catch the right rear slip every once in a while, which is kind of cool. If I missed the bottom at all, it would not, the front would just wash out, the front was dead.
So we're seeing a number of cars get up there and use as much racetrack as they can use and just get against the concrete.
Well, that's the problem you face here at this track, is to get that front end to turn, just like he was saying. You got to use a lot of racetrack to get it right on the bottom, and if you don't hit that mark exactly right, I mean, you really do lose that front end.
Yeah, you heard a little scrape right there. That was actually right in between in the short chute. Very easy to do. That was between turns 3 and 4. A lot of times you try to set yourself up to swing out and get in as wide as you can and
try to make a little room.
Yeah, you scrape a little bit.
Jeff Gordon climbing out of his car, walking down the garage area. 3-time pole winner, 4-time race winner. Let's go down and check on the tire situation some more. Dave.
And, Doc, it's good news down in the 11 camp. Denny Hamlin's tires came off the car after they were 12 laps old. This is the key one right here. This is the right front tire for Denny. You can see Patrick Mullen, the tire specialist, has already written down the numbers that he needs to see to indicate how much of the depth of the tread has been worn away. And the reason this tire is the key is because this is the right front, and Denny's car was tight during that run. He had trouble turning it. Therefore, he was working on the right front a little bit more. There's no cords showing. Everything's good. Remember, last year, we had, after 8 laps on this track, cords showing. Things are much better.
Yeah, that's the best I've ever seen at this track with any tire they've ever brought here. So that's really, really good to hear.
Again, when they tested here at the middle of June, many of the teams could run a full fuel stop, which is about 30 to 35 laps. And I think Greg Biffle told us that at the end of that fuel, they ran their car out of fuel, ran it full of full tank full of fuel, and said he had a little bit of wear on the right rear a little bit. Otherwise, the tires look really good.
Denny Hamlin, you heard him talk about his car being a little bit tight in the center. That means right that point right there, he's not turning, able to get back to the gas, and probably a little bit tight on exit of that corner. So they'll work in trying to make that car rotate just a little bit better without giving up the forward grip that he's looking for.
The big question was, in this first session, would you work on qualifying setup, or would you go out and run some more laps to see what the cars are going to do on this tire? And here's some of the numbers. Mark Martin right now has run more laps than anybody.
And that's no surprise. He's one of those guys that likes to get out there and run as many laps as possible. And one reason is because the more you run the car, the more problems you can expose that you can work on. So it's really a good idea. Mark's seen that over the years to pay off for him, to get out there and run a lot of laps, find out what the car's doing, expose some weaknesses, and get in there and work on them.
There is Mark Martin in the 5 car, and of course he has started second 3 times at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. A little loose there. Car doing a little bit of a bobble and wobble in the corner. Mark started on the outside front row a year ago. The guy he started beside a year ago, Jimmy Johnson, who was the pole sitter and the eventual winner of the Brickyard 400. And Jimmy taking some notes and sitting quietly in the garage thinking about what may happen in the final minutes of practice or maybe in qualifying tomorrow.
Applebee's 2 for $20. Real food at the right price. This is the Primo stuff. 1 appetizer and 2 premium entrees, just $20 every day. Genuine food, generous portions, genius price. 2 for $20, only at Applebee's.
When your engine's running clean, you feel it. And Pennzoil Motor Oil actively cleans out up to 15% of sludge the first time you use it. So feel the clean. Not just oil, Pennzoil.
Great choice. I don't know what that means, but if you were to lose your job for some reason, the Sears Buyer Protection Program would cover your purchase until you're working again or your appliance is paid off. You know, should you lose your job.
The Sears Buyer Protection Program. One more way we've got you covered when you use your Sears card. Come in now and save an extra 10% on all Whirlpool appliances already on sale. Sears, life well spent.
This is Jeff Norman. He doesn't get health insurance from an employer, so he's been buying it himself for years. He's healthy, so he wonders why his rates keep going up. Liz Sloan wants health insurance, but doesn't think she can afford it. We're Assurant Health, and we've been customizing plans to meet the needs of individuals for over 110 years. For instance, with our 2-year rate guarantee and healthy discount, Jeff will get 15% off his rate and lock in that rate for 2 years. For Liz, we offer plans that allow people like her to pay for only the benefits they need, saving them money. In fact, Liz could get up to $2 million of coverage for less than $100 per month. Unlike other health insurance companies that focus on corporations and treat everyone the same, Assurant Health is there for the individual. So if you need health insurance, call the number on your screen, visit our website, or contact your local agent.
Call now to find out how you can save hundreds of dollars a year on your health insurance. Call 1-800-229-0166.
The Brickyard means history, miles of traditions, and unforgettable legends. It means greatness. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series comes to ESPN with the Brickyard 400, Sunday at 12:30.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
Very interested on pit road and in the garage area. Four-time Brickyard winner Jeff Gordon taking a look at the tires, and there was so much concern a year ago, and now something you didn't see at all last year. Smiles from the crew members and smiles from the drivers because Goodyear has done their homework, and we should be set for a great race on Sunday. Let's go down to Dave.
And checking with Jeff Gordon now, who has talked to his crew chief, talked to a few folks over there too next to the tires. They're all looking good up and down here. So first of all, how were they on your car?
Our tires look great. They feel great. I mean, I was as thrilled as I was with the test, you know, and knew that we weren't going to have tire issues for the race. I thought we'd at least see some aggressive wear here the first run, but man, that looks awesome. I think that's really good news, a good sign, and now we can just fine-tune on the race car. We got a really good DuPont Chevrolet. Feels a little bit better than when we were here for the tire test, so we've made improvements, but just need to squeak a little bit more out of it. We're going to switch over to qualifying trim now and get ready for that next practice.
Jeff, how much a relief is it to have the tire questions really answered?
Well, it's a huge relief, you know. I mean, last year wasn't any fun for anybody, you know. It wasn't fun for the fans, from the drivers, the crews, you know, everybody involved. It was tough. I mean, you just never knew how hard you could push, how far you could go, and you kind of just waited for that first caution and hoped that you weren't in it or you weren't the caution. So it's a huge relief. You know, now we go back to racing like we always have here at the Brickyard. I love racing here. It's such a spectacular track, event, history, and you know, it's great to see all the fans that have come out to support us already here today, and hopefully that'll build throughout the weekend.
Going back to racing, Doc. Sounds good, doesn't it? And by the way, the leaderboard there is changing, isn't it?
Yeah, they are putting up some numbers here in the final minutes. Greg Biffle now. There comes Biffle down in the 3M car, putting up number. He is right now atop the speed charts. Greg Biffle is there. We talked about Gordon maybe making history. How about Juan Pablo Montoya? Could he become the first driver to win the Indy 500 and the Brickyard 400? He is second on the speed charts.
Bobby Labonte there in the top 5.
Trying to win it for a second time. Ryan Newman, a native Hoosier, grew up in South Bend. Would love to be able to get his first win at Indianapolis.
Yeah, we're looking at, we just got the qualifying order for tomorrow morning, and an early draw is very important. Mark Martin's got a good one. He's going out 3rd. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going out 6th. Those are 2 good draws for those guys.
Yeah, I think anybody outside that top 15, they have to have really a superior car to get the pole. Can happen, but they have to have a really, really fast race car. Jimmy Johnson sitting there in that 15th spot. Jeff Gordon 16th going out tomorrow.
Let's update Montoya. Jamie.
Well, Doc, at the top of the show, Vince Welch talked about the importance of being at the top of the charts. Right now, that's Juan Pablo Montoya. All he did was put new sticker tires on. He's still in race setup. That's how good his car is.
Well, how would that be for Juan Pablo Montoya? He's won the Grand Prix of Monaco, the crown jewel in Formula One. He's won the Indy 500 as a rookie in 2000 for Chip Ganassi. And they got the throwback paint scheme there, as you heard mentioned, the Target scheme, the same paint scheme he had on the Indy car when he won it back in 2000, now on his stock car.
Man, we have so many things leading up to this race on Sunday. So many different stories, you know, possibilities and things. Here we see Tony Stewart coming down the front straightaway. That's his team leading the points.
The famous number 14, his childhood hero, A.J. Foyt's number, who won here 4 times. Could Tony take the number 14 back to victory lane? So much coming your way on Saturday. We begin here with qualifying at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Nationwide practice at ORP. Back here with happy hour. Nationwide qualifying, NHRA qualifying, and live flag-to-flag action for the NASCAR Nationwide Series at O'Reilly Raceway Park at 7:30 Eastern Time on ESPN. And, of course, on Sunday, live flag-to-flag coverage of the Brickyard 400, beginning with NASCAR Countdown, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So many special features. We'll have A.J. Foyt and Tony Stewart talking at the Yard of Bricks. And we'll set some of the stories up. Could we see the first 50-year-old winner at the 100-year-old racetrack, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway? Jimmy Johnson, could he become the first driver to win it 2 years in a row? No one has ever done it. NASCAR has come to Indianapolis for the 16th year. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. So long, everybody.
Inside our ESPN Pit Studio with two former winners of this Brickyard 400, two-time winning driver Dale Jarrett and former winning crew chief Andy Petrie. What makes this place special to you?
Well, just the name, first of all, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But the history, the prestige, the champions that have gone to victory lane here. You know, you ask any race driver in the world, where do you want to win? Daytona or Indy? Well, Daytona's gone. They've waited a year to try to kiss the bricks here at Indy. That chance is coming up in just a few days.
Hey, you know, and for me, you hear about the history of the racing part of it, and it is. I mean, the racing roots are deep here, but it's also an American landmark. This place is huge. Everybody knows what Indianapolis is, and it's neat to win here.
Story number one for this race weekend will be tires and their performance on this racetrack. Last year's race, a combination of NASCAR's then new style race car. This track's very unique and difficult track surface, and the tire Goodyear brought to compete with resulted in teams being able to run no more than 10 or 12 laps at a time before things like that happened. The race certainly didn't match up to the expectations of officials, competitors, or Goodyear for that matter. What's been done since? Well, over 13,000 miles of testing, including 7 different sessions here, participated in by 31 different drivers, and some very new and different techniques of R&D used by Goodyear to develop a tire for this most difficult speedway surface. DJ and Andy, based on what you've heard from Goodyear and other drivers, what do we expect to see this weekend?
Well, I think tomorrow this will be in our rearview mirror. These guys are going to go on this racetrack, and they're going to find out that this is a great tire, and all the efforts that they've put into this has really worked. And I think that we're going to see a great race on Sunday because of it.
Yeah, and talking to the drivers, they say that not only is Goodyear given a tire that they believe is going to go a full fuel stop, but it's going to allow them to really have some great racing. This is a very difficult flat surface for these cars and these drivers to maneuver, but they really believe this is going to be a great.
If you think you know Esther,
she's very bright and she's very well mannered.
You're dead wrong. What did you do? Orphan.
Esther?
Rated R.
Why do hardwood floors cost less at Lumber Liquidators? At most flooring stores, your floor makes a few stops before you get your order. Lumber Liquidators cuts out the middleman. Come on in. You'll find the quality hasn't been cut, just the prices. Like Bellawood, the premium pre-finished hardwood flooring from $2.99. Supreme bamboo flooring as low as $1.99 a square foot. Hurry in, these deals won't last. Visit lumberliquidators.com or call 1-800-HARDWOOD for a store near you.
New Nivea for Men Active 3. Nivea's first 3-in-1 shower, shampoo, and shave. It's almost everything men need for grooming. Almost. New Active 3 from Nivea for Men. What men want.
Are you one of the millions of people struggling to learn a new language? Well, thanks to our breakthrough software called Rosetta Stone, learning a new language is now incredibly easy and a whole lot faster.
I've probably learned more in the first 2 weeks than I have in months of taking formal classes.
Rosetta Stone is so fast and effective, it's used by the U.S. State Department, NASA, the U.S. Army, and Fortune 500 companies, and is the world's leading language learning software.
It's almost like having your own person there teaching you, your own private tutor who is just very relaxed in your home with you, sitting there teaching you the language.
Rosetta Stone is the fastest way to learn a new language. And to prove it, we'll send you our amazing demo CD, absolutely free when you call.
This really is a great program.
I believe that you can learn any language with this program.
Call now or visit our website and see for yourself why Rosetta Stone is the fastest way to learn a new language, guaranteed.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. American League Central contenders clash in the Motor City as Jermaine Dye leads the White Sox in the final game of a big 4-game series against the Tigers. While All-Stars Curtis Granderson on the run, he makes the catch, and Brandon Inge look to carry Detroit to the division title. Home run, Brandon Inge. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell. White Sox Tigers, 8 Eastern on ESPN.
This is the Scott Van Pelt Show on ESPN Radio and
ESPNradio.com.
Tom Brady
kills it.
Kills it, even though he's married.
He upgrades his level of killing it. This is a kid that went from being a backup going to Boston bars that I'm aware of, where he got turned down by the Bud Light bathtub ice beer bottle girl. It was she
got shot down.
Yeah, she was like, no thanks. And then like a year later, how was that decision for you?
Well, she's sitting around right now in Needham telling her girls, Tom Brady was trying to hit on me.
Exactly.
Yeah, sure he was, sweetheart.
Scott Van Pelt Show on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. Ron Jaworski joins us now, part of our Monday Night Football team on the Subway Fresh Take Hotline. Jaws, how are you today?
Absolutely fantastic, Ryan. Ready to get that training camp open over the weekend.
That's right. They get ready this weekend. Browns today, right?
Browns actually get it cranking today. They're the first team in, and other 31 will be in shortly.
I do want to start with Mike Vick, though, because a lot of talk about when he could come back. I mean, clearly, I think he's going to play in the league again at some point. Maybe it's a 4-game suspension. But based on your study of him and his progression through his career, what kind of quarterback do you expect him to be when he comes back?
I still believe Michael Vick can make a significant contribution in a positive way to any football team that he goes to. I believe he deserves an opportunity. He is paid for his crimes, and he deserves an opportunity. There are teams that will be interested in him. I think there's going to be a number of issues, not just his physical well-being, how healthy he is, what he's been doing the last couple of years, but from a public relations standpoint, what team is going to take the chance, because initially there's going to be a backlash, some negativity to the team that signs him.
Now, Jaws, what is the best offense that you can see that's out there that teams are using that would be the best fit for him and his skill set?
Well, we all know that the Wildcat is becoming a much more predominant formation in the National Football League, and if you want to run the Wildcat formation, the best quarterback that is out there to run it is Michael Vick, plain and simple, bar none. He is an outstanding runner when he gets on the edge. He can break down a defense on the perimeter, even when he doesn't have the football in his hand, by sealing the back side of the defense, and he can throw the football. Now, he is not one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the National Football League, but he can throw it well enough to be successful in a Wildcat-style offense on a consistent basis. So you combine the throwing ability of Michael Vick, the passing ability of Michael Vick, and the ability to break down a defense with his legs, he can still be a tremendous Wildcat quarterback in this league.
Yeah, but can any team in the NFL run their Wildcat as their base offense?
No, and that's one of the things that John Gruden and I, my partner on Monday Night Football, will be debating an awful lot this season. John is kind of the belief that this is the new wave coming to the NFL, the Wildcat quarterback, the Wildcat formation, the quarterback that can run and throw, and I believe it will always have a place in the game, but it won't be as a staple of your offense. It won't be the constant formation you want to use, primarily because the quarterback will get beat up.
Ron Jaworski joins us here on the Scott Van Pelt Show on ESPN Radio and ESPN2 HD. I'm Ryan Russillo. Scott will be back on Monday. I had Mike Gundy in this week here in the set. He's, of course, the head coach at Oklahoma State, and this is going to be a really good team. The offense has been great under Gundy there, and they run a variation of the spread. All these college teams are running some sort of spread. The high school kids are running spread, so they have to recruit them for this kind of offense. Yet he feels the NFL is still very reluctant to take this on. Do you feel that this kind of offense will never work in the NFL, or that just a matter of time that we're going to see more offenses in the NFL look like we're seeing on Saturdays in college football?
No, you won't see as many as you see on Saturday, because it's a simple system. It's a perfect fit, for the college and high school game, because it's not a complex, sophisticated system. The National Football League is much different. Defenses are complex, sophisticated. They have more time to practice, to prepare for what you do. They will take it away if it becomes your staple. I think the major part of the spread offenses will be as a change-up offense, and I think it'll be effective. We saw last year, the big plays that were generated because of the Wildcat and a spread formation.
Do you think there's a team right now? I mean, if I were to ask you which team runs the most complicated offense, and I know it's going to be maybe different stuff that's be put in this offseason, but which team in the NFL do you think runs the most complicated offense to defend now?
Wow, which would be the most complicated? Well, John Gruden now has left Tampa Bay, so
really, so it was Tampa Bay.
They were a very verbiage-oriented system. So and of course that was the evolution of the West Coast style of offense that Bill Walsh started back with the Cincinnati Bengals, where there was a lot of movement, a lot of formation variation, a lot of shifting, and it evolved to a lot of verbiage. So there was a lot to learn in that system. But there really isn't a team in the National Football League that has a simple system, because you just can't survive, with basic plays anymore. The defenses are too good.
I want to talk Favre. One final thought. Was his fall off because of the injury or the way teams were defending him?
Oh, absolutely, it was the injury. I watched Brett Favre very closely last year on the coach's tape. I believe I pinpointed the play against the Cincinnati Bengals where he hurt his arm, his bicep, and his shoulder. And after that, his performance declined substantially, in my opinion. I did not see the ball coming out of his hand with velocity or rotation from that point on. But Brett Favre, if he's healthy, can still play in the National Football League, period.
So if he's back and he does pick the Vikings and all this drama ends, then he makes them a significantly better team, in your opinion?
He makes them the best team in the NFC right now. Right now, I have the Philadelphia Eagles as the best team in the NFC, leading the pack to go to the Super Bowl. If Brett Favre takes over a quarterback for the Vikings, they become, in my opinion, the best team in the NFC. When you look at their roster, and this is what Brett Favre has to be just salivating right now as he looks at their roster, wide receivers, Bernard Berrien, a young and upcoming guy in Sidney Rice, and Percy Harvin, who is a dynamic player that's going to be a huge difference in the Viking offense. You look at the tight end of Asante Shanko, Adrian Peterson in the backfield, a solid offensive line. If I'm Brett Favre, this may be the most talented group of people he will have ever lined up around.
Jaws, can't wait for Monday nights. Thanks.
Always great to be with you, Ryan.
All right, that's Ron Jaworski, one of our NFL analysts, and, of course, part of our Monday Night Football team, John Gruden this year, and, of course, Mike Tirico. Jaws and all of today's guests. I believe he has an S on that. Peer via the Subway Fresh Take hotline. For a limited time, buy a Subway $5 footlong and get a Live Nation concert ticket for $5 as well. See store for details. Up next, why conspiracy theorists are the worst parents in the world. That's next on ESPN Radio.
That was me, Tony Stewart. Before I started using Swagger from Old Spice. Thanks, Old Spice.
Roundup Extended Control does two jobs at once. 1. Kills weeds to the root. 2. Forms a barrier, preventing new ones for up to 4 months. Roundup Extended Control. ESPN.com /Round 1. Round 5.
Oh, yeah. All day long. That's right.
Round 15.
Let's go.
Mason Crosby.
ESPN Fantasy Football. Play for free at ESPN.com. Follow your sports.
I've always liked mechanical things. I would take apart everything and put it back together just to see how it worked. I get a kick out of it. If you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to work on any of this stuff. I took the HVAC course. The teachers were really knowledgeable. Whenever I had a question, they always could help me out and walk me through it. And you learn all the ins and outs of heating and air conditioning. This is like the perfect job for me. Money-wise, there's no complaints. My name's Steven. My school is Wyotech.
Get in the fast track to a career. Turn pro at Wyotech. 1-800-788-3816.
Tomorrow, heroes and villains, babes and robots, dark nights and Jedi nights. Everything awesome is happening at Comic-Con, and only G4 can get you inside.
It does not get any bigger than this right here.
We're there first with news and previews of the biggest blockbuster movies, plus G4's world broadcast exclusive of the Star Wars Spectacular panel event. Comic-Con! Comic-Con 09 Live, tomorrow at 2, only on G4.
The Sprint Cup season kicks into high gear at the Brickyard. Jimmy Johnson has won here twice in the last 3 years. Hometown favorite Tony Stewart comes in as the points leader. We'll all chase Jeff Gordon, looking to become NASCAR's only 5-time winner at this legendary racetrack. The Brickyard 400, presented by Golden Corral. Coverage begins Sunday at 12:30 Eastern on ESPN.
Jeremy Mayfield is back under suspension for failing a drug test. An appeals court ruled in NASCAR's favor today, issuing an injunction that had given Mayfield the right to return to the track. He was suspended May 9th for testing positive for meth, and NASCAR says he failed another test earlier this month. Well, it is a final in Detroit in the first of a day-night doubleheader. Justin Verlander improving to 7-0 at home this season with a 1.15 ERA. It is his third complete game of the season, sixth of his career, and Placido Polanco had his fifth three-hit game of the season as they beat the White Sox 5-1. ESPN The Magazine's Buster Olney has learned the A's have traded outfielder Matt Holliday to the Cardinals in exchange for third baseman Brett Wallace, outfielder Shane Peterson, and right-handed pitcher Clayton Mortensen. Well, Votegate is over. Steve Spurrier admits he is the coach who did not vote Tim Tebow to the All-SEC team. Spurrier says that he didn't even fill out the ballot and that the director of football operations did. Spurrier says he's embarrassed and the SEC has let him change his vote to Tebow. Michael Vick met with NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell on Wednesday to begin his road towards reinstatement. ESPN's Chris Mortensen has learned Goodell is expected to suspend Vick for the start of the 2009 season. One source telling Mort the likely suspension will be 4 games, but another source says Goodell is contemplating something between a 2 to 6 game suspension. A decision is expected no later than next week, possibly coming on Monday. That'll do it for the SportsCenter update. The Scott Van Pelt Show will be back in just 90 seconds with Ryan.
This is Jeff Norman. He doesn't get health insurance from an employer, so he's been buying it himself for years. He's healthy, so he wonders why his rates keep going up. Liz Sloan wants health insurance, but doesn't think she can afford it. We're Assurant Health, and we've been customizing plans to meet the needs of individuals for over 110 years. For instance, with our 2-year rate guarantee and healthy discount, Jeff will get 15% off his rate and lock in that rate for 2 years. For Liz, we offer plans that allow people like her to pay for only the benefits they need, saving them money. In fact, Liz could get up to $2 million of coverage for less than $100 per month. Unlike other health insurance companies that focus on corporations and treat everyone the same, Assurant Health is there for the individual. So if you need health insurance, call the number on your screen, visit our website, or contact your local agent.
Call now to find out how you can save hundreds of dollars a year on your health insurance. Call 1-800-229-0166.
I set these firecrackers off over and over in my head. Because if I can manage to outmaneuver this course, sparks will fly.
See original works of sport. X Games 15 coverage starts Thursday at 8 Eastern on ESPN.
From the worldwide leader in sports.
About that time, y'all.
This is the Scott Van Pelt Show on ESPN Radio and ESPNradio.com.
Scott Van Pelt Show on ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. I'm Ryan Russillo, also on ESPN 2 HD, where you can see these horrific 3x5 heads that they've made of us for the show. If you're watching on ESPN 2, you can see those. If you're listening, just be glad you're not watching them right now because they're absolutely horrifying. My father asked if I could get one for my little brother so he could put it in his room, and I was like, why? Is he punished? Is there some reason why we would want to do that to any kid? I want to finish up with a story that's been going on now for a few weeks. LeBron James and the dunk video. He has a skills camp going on, high school kids, college kids, and this kid Crawford from Xavier dunked on him, and we all heard about how the cameraman had the videos yanked so no one would ever get to see it. About a week, really 2 weeks went by, and those that can see it on ESPN 2 HD are watching it right now. It's a good dunk, but it's not like it's really dunking on LeBron James. I mean, it's a nice dunk, and LeBron goes to try to challenge him. Really, LeBron was sort of the second defender coming over, so that guy usually ends up in the poster, although it wasn't like this guy completely broke down LeBron and dunked over him. But here's the problem I have with this story, is that there are conspiracy theorists out there, and I always kind of kid around and say there's a few conversations you can start with me where I'll want to stop talking to you immediately, and one will be that sports are fixed or that the NBA is fixed. And I know you're going to go and talk about Donaghy, the official, but for the most part, let's just all sort of agree that most of us that are sane do not believe that all these sports are fixed all the time. But I've had people say that